One, trade with Afghanistan is closed. It's a policy decision. Two, we can actually be the energy hub of the country, but energy is being taken away from the provinces, whether it's gas or whether it's electricity, and therefore we are that little northwest corner that gets blamed for things, but that the center doesn't primary factor. It has, but what is the element of the formula that gets the greatest proportion of NFC sharing in India? It's something called tax gap. That means, no sir, it means that the states in India that are the furthest behind in revenue generation get the greatest share because of this need
level
for
of backwardness
equalization.
Thank you very much.
50%.
I think Taimur Sahab, you also hit the nail on the head. Very good. Especially on the issue of it's not about money, it's about the political willingness to do this and also the role of the bureaucracy, which you pointed out. Thank you so much. Dr. Farooq Sattar Sahab, why is it that after every population census, there is a hue and cry from the MQM, especially from Karachi, about the population figures being, he talked of that Form 47 is applied in Karachi and population. Why is that? Is it
of sharing issue with a very august audience that is just sitting in front of me. Now, taking a lead from this, I am coming from a city which is very complex, Mushahid Bhai, and it will not be a justice that while we are sitting in Islamabad and do a sort. So there is something seriously wrong in the approach of conducting the census. But this time along the last census that were held in register in the 38 to 40 special teams were sent by S.N. Iqbal, the Prime Minister, and the Prime Minister to Karachi, and then when they digged out the evidences that we shared with them, the population then of Karachi for the first time in last 60 years has gone up from 32 to 37% of sin. Otherwise, a city, I did not hear any of my predecessor. Everybody mostly was speaking on the unchecked growth of population, and that is the 2.6. Immense pressure is continuing. Every year, 100,000 adults are born in Karachi. हर साल 1,17,000 साल से बड़ी उम्र के 18 साल से बड़ी उम्र के बच्चे पैदा हो रहे हैं वहाँ पर. This is a fact, and even Lahore, I think, is also because of the influx. It is also going to be same, yeah. So this is one thing that where does this influx thing or the real count of this influx or even the natural growth is accounted for in the censuses that have been held. I don't want to go into the detail of the censuses that have been held since 1950. I'm not going to detail में नहीं जा रहा. But then what I have to say कि जो उजड़े और फिर न बसे, ये दिल वो निराली बस्ती है. बस्ती बसना खेल नहीं है. बसते बसते बस्ती है. Now may all, the hearts of all of you remain inhabited by good people, memories of good people, and may our neighborhoods, our cities and our societies also remain inhabited by people who spend a quality life, who spend a life which they deserve. And for that I've seen that the mist is getting clear. Even the Islamic Ideology Council very recently, because of the sustained and proactive effort of the Population Council, I would like to commend their efforts. And now, Zeba Sattar, yeah. And now, yeah, because of her efforts, Islamic Ideology Council even has conceded that this population control thing is not un-Islamic. I think this is a very good progress made by the Population Council, and the parliamentary forum which has been regularly sitting on this population issue is also contributing a lot. Then the second good achievement was made by the parliament, that another resolution has recently been passed. And there is a consensus across the board. All parties have come along and supported this resolution. The third thing that has happened is the Prime Minister, who has formed a special task committee on this, and has asked the task committee to submit the report as soon as possible and early as possible, which is again. Now, if all these things have happened and have converged, and the mist is getting cleared, that behind this underlying problem of unchecked growth of population, every problem in our national sector has emanated from this problem. This is the mother of all problems. So this need, the same, a national consensus is now needed, through a national consensus. Otherwise, Zeba, Satars and non-media group efforts will be an exercise in futility if very soon an all-parties conference is not held, which should be attended by the top leaders of all parties. And they come to, before the 250 million people of Pakistan, and make a commitment and formulate a national narrative, which should suggest that if there is anything to be incorporated in the 28th constitutional amendment, if the 28th constitutional amendment is somewhere being discussed, then what legislations are required to make this population control thing very in a settled way acceptable by people coming from different ethnic backgrounds, different tribal backgrounds, and some other backgrounds also. One thing that I think that was missed in the earlier discussion was the role of local governments. Now, what we are discussing and focusing, that policy has to be made by the federal government, and provinces are actually the owners of this issue, subject population control. Then, but the main instrument or tool of delivery, wherever the success of one-child policy in China is very clearly and categorically attributable to the role of local governments in China. Local governments in China, they played this role, reaching, because the parliamentarians...
For that you need the Communist Party of China. We don't have that here.
But it is their large-heartedness, no? That this is a one-party rule, but they have devolved and have empowered local government system. There are 15 parties who contest the elections for the local governments. And those parties contest and they try to deliver more and more on anything that is their responsibility. So, responsibility devoid of authority is not for an effective government. Our local governments are merely showpiece. 140A has been interpreted completely in different way by every provincial government. So the laws that exist, the local government laws are completely in contradiction and violation to the spirit of Article 148. Despite that, Justice Gulzar Ahmad Sheikh, Chief Justice of the Supreme Court, has adjudicated that this is the elaboration, this is the spirit of the devolution of financial, administrative, and...
Thank you, Dr. Saab.
And there are 200,000 councillors in the wards, chairman in the UCs, chairman in Tehsil and town councils. Then there are mayors and deputy mayors and UC chairman in the metropolitan and municipal council. So why are we not using this local governments as the tool? Even lady health workers, जो कि polio which are on ground some